Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Nash County Board of Commissioners meeting for January 23rd, which is our afternoon meeting. And it is customary for our begin our meeting with a prayer by city commissioner and a pledge of allegiance to the flag. During the prayer time, you're welcome to stand and join us in the prayer. You're welcome to use this time for your own prayer if you so like, or a moment of silence, whatever you have on your heart today. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Gwen Wilkins for the invocation, and following that, Vice Chair Wayne Outlaw for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Wilkins.
Let us all pray. Dear God, we come to you today to humbly ask for your grace and mercy on this Board of Commissioners, its staff, and employees of Nash County and its citizens. Help this board as we confront any challenges in this new year. We ask for your wisdom and insight to navigate the obstacles, overcome any hardships, and celebrate the successes together. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Would you join us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners. Sheriff, I understand you may need to get back to court pretty quickly. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
If there's no opposition from the board, I'm going to let the sheriff take care of item 6 real quick up front. Any opposition to that? Unopposed. Item number 16 is a resolution authorizing the donation of county-owned surplus property to Nash Community College. Sheriff, come forward.
Thank you.
You won't need to state your name and address for the record. I think we have it, sir.
Okay. I appreciate y'all switching it up for this. I do have a court case going on. The vehicle that's in question is a 2014 with over 156,000 miles. Nash Community College reached out to us and asked if they could get this vehicle complete with the emergency equipment on. They use it for the emergency training for law enforcement officers. And obviously, by general statute, we have to come before the commissioners to get that approved because it's a county vehicle and not a sheriff's office vehicle. And that's what I'm requesting.
All right. Any questions from board members on that item? Seeing none, I entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Belfield. Questions on the motion? All in favor of that? Go ahead, sir. You have a question?
No, that was me, but anyway, go ahead. Second, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Didn't want to run by you. No other questions. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a light sign. Motion carries, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Y'all
sir.
have a blessed day. Thank you.
Move back up to item number 4. Commissioner Outlaw, since you're in charge of setting up these presentations, do you mind taking 4 and 5 at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd be honored to do so. First, I want to say that as a graduate of North Carolina Wesleyan College back in the 80s, some years back, it's a great honor for me today to welcome the president of the institution, Dr. Evan Duff, and I met your guest with you, but I'll let you handle those introductions. Today, Dr. Duff is going to speak to us. I'm sure he'll provide some general information, but he's primarily going to speak to us about the transformation of the university, of the institution from college to university status. First, before he does that, I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Duff. There's not enough time to tell you everything that needs to be said, but I think there are a few significant items that it'd be worth mentioning today. Dr. Duff began his tenure of interim president of the college in June of 2020. I'm sorry, after he began his tenure as president in June of 2020 after serving a year as interim president starting in 19. The executive committee of the university recently extended a 5-year contract renewal to Dr. Duff, expanding his tenure to May of 2028. And I feel sure that it will probably continue long before that, beyond that. Since assuming his position as interim president, he has led the school from a $2 million deficit, to a positive change in net assets along with securing the highest level of giving in the history of the school. Also, to position school for the future, a new vision and core values were established, and a 5-year strategic plan was created with initiatives to improve student success, enhance the financial foundation, and increase community connectivity. Additionally, under his leadership, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges reaffirmed the accreditation of the university through 2030. Again, there's much more I could say, but in the interest of time, I won't. So without further delay, I'll ask Dr. Duff if you'd come to the podium and welcome. Let's give him a welcome.
Thank you for the invitation to be here today. I want to thank Chairman Davis and the commissioners, first and foremost, for about 8 months ago, North Carolina Wesleyan University was awarded $20,000 from CARES Act funding for our HVAC purification, and we appreciate that very much. It has been installed in our residence halls, and our students are getting to take advantage of that. So my presentation today is to kind of explain our transition from college to university, and then to give the commissioners kind of an update on what's new in 2023. And if I hopefully will be able to do this well, I think I'm just supposed to click and go through this presentation. So some identity concepts that have been very familiar with Wesleyan is that we want to be a place where students realize their potential. We want to guide them to develop a set of skills that are broadly useful in their life, not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom and in their professional life once they graduate. We want to provide students with opportunities to make meaningful connections with their peers, with faculty, and with the community. And we believe that a college education is just the beginning of their lifelong journey. So we want to equip them to be learners much longer than just being, while they're with Wesleyan, being a college student. So these are the things that we have done since our beginning in the mid-'60s. And so we've been in Nash County here for 66 years. And the idea of a university was typically designated towards Research One institutions like ECU, UNC, Duke. However, that has really changed over the years, especially for small private schools. And we have actually been doing many of the things that typical smaller universities have been doing without the name. And so some of those things are, we've been providing education to an array of demographics, not just traditional residential students. We've also, for over 45 years, have been serving working adult students at night, going to class in the evenings, and then in the early 2000s, we started offering online education to those students. So we've been offering education to a number of demographics. We've also been offering multiple modes of delivery. So we offer traditional 15-week seated face-to-face classes. We offer 8-week accelerated face-to-face and online classes. We offer hybrid courses. We have chemistry professors who do what they call the flipped classroom, where students watch videos and then work with one-on-one instruction with the faculty member in the class versus the typical lecture format. So we've been doing some of the things that typical universities do, providing hands-on research to students. We have also served a large number of international students, and that continues to grow. So these are the things that typical universities do. You'll see that we surveyed our students, and we surveyed them from time to time, and what they tell us is that they feel like Wesleyan is home to them. It provides them with a safe environment. It's a warm and friendly atmosphere. They have one-on-one communication with faculty and with staff. And they feel that our campus is pretty diverse from a number of different perspectives. So our opportunities, the things that we want to do as we continue to grow into our university status, is to provide experiential learning opportunities for students. We don't want them to just come into a classroom, hear a lecture, and apply theory. We want them to have hands-on experiences, to work with organizations in our community to solve complex problems. We want them to really understand what they're learning and how they can apply it. So we provide them with those experiences. We also do group projects, so they learn how to communicate and build team building skills. And then we also allow them to facilitate their own learning by providing instruction to their peers. We want them to explore career experiences from day one. A student should not go into their senior year and start thinking about their career. They really should start thinking about that from their freshman year. And so we have a couple of things that I think differentiate us from our competitors. One is that we have a corporate advantage program where we work with companies in the community that want to adopt anywhere from 10 to 15 students over the course of a year. They will come in and listen to their meetings, hear how their corporation works, and then provide potential solutions to some of the problems they're facing. We also have micro internships, so these are smaller than your typical semester-based internships. Job shadowing opportunities where students will come and sit with a leader or a group of people at an organization for 2 to 3 days to really kind of understand what that job is about. We tell students sometimes it's not just about finding out what you want to do, but it's about finding out what you don't want to do. That's just as important sometimes. And so those job shadowing opportunities provide that. We also invite professionals into the classroom. So people who are leaders of organizations here in Nash County are speaking to our students, as well as beyond Nash County, are speaking to our students and explaining to them what their roles are and kind of the paths they took so students can kind of learn from those professionals immediately. One of the new things that we started in fall of 2022 that we're expanding this year is our Practical Skills Academy. We understand that everything a student needs to know is not learned in the classroom. Sometimes classroom instruction doesn't afford itself to help students understand insurance, filling out employment forms, how to negotiate a contract, what are the best terms for renting or leasing a car. So these are the things that we will teach in our Practical Skills Academy as a co-curricular opportunity for students to get experience in some of these things that they might not typically learn. So our identity that we rolled out in the fall is that we want to be personal, practical, and purpose-driven. Personal in that we want to create that personal one-on-one mentoring opportunity with faculty and with staff. We want to create an education that's practical, where they are learning more than just theory and how they can apply that to their lives immediately. And then purpose-driven, so making sure that they understand their purpose in life, what they want to accomplish, and how we can help them to get there. So I spoke to this already about what it means to be a university, serving multiple age demographics, different modes of instructional delivery, graduate programming. We have 3 graduate programs now. Our first 2, criminal justice and our Masters of Business Administration, have been in existence since 2017 and 2018. Our Masters of Public Health just became live this semester. We will find out from our accreditor if they officially sign off on it by March, but we are approved to go ahead and start advertising that program and helping students learn about that program. We have another program that the faculty are reviewing at the end of this month that I hope to be able to announce very soon as well. So that should bring us up to 4 graduate programs, and we are continuing to look at other opportunities to grow our graduate programming. We have a large international student population, and of course we provide undergraduate research opportunities with students. Okay, so that is the end of my presentation. I do want to share some of the new things happening in 2023. A lot of this is due to the impact of donors supporting the college, the community helping us to achieve our goals. So we have conducted a great number of residence hall renovations. This was due to the sale of the Wesleyan Inn back last year, and we reinvested that money to renovate our residence halls, to add new furniture, to add, some of them did not have kitchens, so we added kitchens and ice machines, different amenities that students needed to be more at home. So we completed those. The new furniture, due to supply chain, I'm sure you guys hear that all the time, will be happening this coming summer, so we've placed that order and they should be coming. We have a new pet policy on campus where we are going to pilot one residence hall to be pet-friendly. There's a lot of research to support that dogs and cats support the mental well-being of students. And we typically will bring therapy dogs on campus for students during exam times. So we are going to pilot what that looks like if we had a residence hall supporting that. So we are testing that out. It'll be fall 2023 when that comes live. We've had renovations to our Dunn Center, multiple renovations. If you have not heard, we are having a Bob Ross event at the end of 2023, which will be the largest exhibit of his work in the nation. So we are expecting a lot of people to visit Wesleyan during that time, both in and out of the state. And so we're doing some renovations to support that. Practical Skills Academy, which I spoke to previously, we've updated a lot of our classroom technology. We're offering some new mentoring programs through grants we've received from the Department of Public Instruction for our teacher education program. We have a brand-new academic building due to the Nancy Shaw Trust, and that building came live this semester. We have classes meeting in there already. We have provided 4 new classrooms and 4 new faculty offices to our campus. It's a beautiful building. Anytime you want to stop by and tour that or any other facility on campus, we invite you to do that. We will have an official ribbon cutting later this semester, which I'd love to invite you to as well. And then we've had some other renovations to our eating establishments on campus to create a better atmosphere for our students. And then the last thing I'll say is that we continue to partner with our community in many ways. I know Sheriff Stone was just speaking in here, and we have a partnership with the Nash County Sheriff's Office to provide educational opportunities for their employees. We're expanding that. We have partnered with Nash Community College to offer special pricing not only to their students but also to their employees that want to further their education. And so we're continuing to look at ways that we can be a true community partner and support our community in a multitude of ways. So with that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
Yep, I do. Students, I noticed you had on that personal finance. Is that a requirement for your undergraduate students?
Right now, a course in personal finance is not a requirement, which is why part of the Practical Skills Academy is to provide some of those opportunities that students need to know. And we're actually partnering with a company called Squire that provides on-demand learning and training on all the concepts of personal finance, to include insurance, to include investing, all of the things that the basics that a student really needs to know when they're an adult and they need to make some of those decisions.
I don't know, I'm just thinking that's my observation of our young people out here. Many of them get in too big a debt too quick, and looking at what others have and what's in the world and in the community, and they want it right away and don't want to work up to it. And then they get in financial trouble, then they throw up their hands. And I don't know, this is just personal, that I just think these schools maybe ought to be in high school too. Personal, understanding personal finance and what's involved in it. And they don't look at it that way. They look at what's out here. I want it. I'm going to go get it.
We agree with that, and that's one of the reasons why we implemented the Practical Skills Academy, and our partnership with Squire will help to address that. But like many things in life, it's there if they want to take advantage of it. But we can't force them to take advantage of it, but we hope that they will.
All right, on your graduate program, is that two-part? When I say two-part, I know some graduate programs require the students to have projects where they have to get out into different communities, even in different states, to come up where they have a hypothesis, and then they get out there, and sometimes it take a little longer doing that rather than just going the course way and just have one special project. Are you looking at that also?
Yeah, we are exploring that, especially with our Masters of Public Health, that will, they will have multiple practicums that may span multiple months, but they may be working on one project. And we have a lot of community partners that are providing those experience for students. Ripe Revival is our newest partner with our Masters of Public Health, where we will be working with them. And that is the point. We want to provide our students with a practical application that is helping them to solve a problem for an organization, or to provide support that maybe that organization doesn't have the finances for a marketing plan, a feasibility study. And so those are definitely some of the things we're trying to accomplish through our partnerships.
My last question is, I notice apparently you've changed the approach of support fundraising for the college. Used to have, and I know I participated in it for a number of years, over 20 years, a Day for Western. And now, I think, for what I'm getting now, you're just making contact with potential donors. So you cut the other one out, or you just?
No, so we.
Was it just the pandemic caused?
No, so we have modified our strategy a little bit. So in our fall, what used to be our Day for Wesleyan in the fall has become our Wesleyan Promise campaign, and that's where we have community volunteers that go out and solicit funds over the course of maybe 2 months, from October to November. The Day for Wesleyan is now just a true one-day giving in the spring, and that's meant to target alum and organizations that want to support some of the things we're doing. So that's a one-day online day of giving, but the fall campaign, which was what the Day for Wesleyan used to be, is now the Wesleyan Promise, and that is still in effect.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I just want to make a comment. I want to thank Wesleyan. I'm a product, just like Commissioner Outlaw, graduated in 2008 from the adult degree program. And I don't know what I would have done if it weren't for the adult degree. I was working a full-time job, going at night, and then the courses online really helped, and I really had a great experience, and I just hope you keep it up and expand it as much as you can. So, thank you.
That's our plan. Thank you.
Marvin?
I would like to offer you, excuse me, comment on your campus. I've been driving by that campus many, many years, and I kind of get by there at least a couple of times every week. I like your athletic new football stadium, and I call it the athletic bubble you have over there. And the campus is always clean, and I like you have a nature trail. I think you do a good job. Who's ever the facility manager is doing a good job of keeping it looking like it's a hometown campus. So keep up good work on that part.
Thank you. Our facilities, grounds, housekeepers are the hardest working group on campus, and I try to praise them as much as I can. So thank you for that observation. I will definitely be passing that along. But you are always, you and anyone else in the community is always welcome on campus. Most of our facilities are free to use. You can use that indoor tennis bubble, the courts. When it's raining, if you love tennis, you can come in there. We'll also soon have golf bays in there, digital golf bays. So if you like to hit some golf swings, you can do that in there as well. So lots of opportunities for the community, and I appreciate you making that observation.
I've just got one question. Can you tell us a little bit about the partnership or the collaboration that you have with Nash Community and what population of students average you see coming from Nash Community to Wesleyan?
Sure. So we have, and we've had this for years with their students. We have not only internal grant funds that we provide for Nash Community College graduates, that they get additional funding on top of what anyone else would get just because they graduated from Nash Community College. But we also offer very easy and seamless transfer policies. We're very transparent. We pretty much accept just about everything that they've taken at Nash Community College and apply it towards their degree at Wesleyan. And so we've had that for years. We probably see in both our traditional and adult student program, I would say probably 20 to 25% of our students are from, well, probably 15% are from Nash Community College, but Nash County, Edgecombe County, our local area, we see about 60% of our population from those counties. And so we really do pride ourselves on being a community university, a university that serves Eastern North Carolina, and our goal is to be a university of excellence so that students don't see us as a second or third or an option if they didn't get into their top school. We want to be their top option. And so we're looking to continue to expand opportunities to so students see us as that University of Excellence.
And what is your full-time student population and your part-time?
Sure. Our residential traditional population is between, in the spring, it's a little lower than the fall, so 750. In the fall, it was 8, maybe close to 850. So that accounts for people who graduate in December or people who may transfer to another school. And then our adult population is about the same size. So total anywhere between 1,600 and 1,800, depending on the given year.
Is that consistent with pre-COVID or are
No,
you
it's actually
recovering?
it's actually below. So pre-COVID, our highest was about 2,100 students total, and since, which this was before COVID, but starting in 2017, we started to see the national trend of what's happening all over the country with students, both adult and traditional, kind of migrating in a different path from going into higher education. And so and I think COVID, of course, made that worse. I am thankful to state that our fall of 2022 class was 12% higher than our previous 2 years. So we are starting to see that trend where people are getting back into maybe normal operations of going back to college.
Are you seeing more and more of the students now that are getting their education online versus coming to the institution?
Yeah, so I don't think we will ever become for the traditional
I
program.
kind of see that at Nash Community as well.
Yeah, we want to provide opportunities for students to explore their education in a number of instructional methods, but we will never, for traditional students, we'll never be 100% online school. I do expect us to be more aggressive and competitive with our adult students. For a number of reasons, it's important that they have online options. So I think we will do a better job of that. And we'll provide opportunities for students to take traditional students to take some online or some hybrid, but not 100%. But we are seeing more and more students who are used to that type of technology and infrastructure. I mean, North Carolina has their own virtual school, and they've had that for at least 10 years. So it is more of the norm.
Any other questions?
May I make a final comment?
Sure.
Well, a comment, I didn't want to monopolize it at the beginning. I just want to make this comment. It's something that has been working in my mind and some things that I'm observing. I see Western College being a great asset to this community now, And if we keep moving forward, we're going to see a lot of growth in this area. And there's great potential here. And I'm proud to know that Western College is moving forward now. Oh, well, Western University, I got to get used to calling it a university. And that's good, because I've been here in this area ever since 1962, and when I came here, that was not the case. There were some groups, organized groups in the area who did not like the professors that were at Western, and they were always talking negative. Didn't help, but things turned around, and some of those people left the area, which was, in my opinion, was a good thing, because it was great for Western that they were out of the way. And I'm proud to see Western grow from a college to a university, and I think it's going to be a great asset to the Twin Counties and city of Rocky Mount also.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Dr. Duff, thank you for being with us today. We are proud of North Carolina Wesleyan. We're glad that it's in our community, and we're thankful for your leadership. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Wait, if you would take item number 5, offer.
Okay. Well, item number 5, some time back, we had an issue in the farming community that was brought to us by a resident, actually a couple of residents, and it was a noise concern. We felt it was important enough to evaluate it, look at it, study it, so we formed a committee. That committee consisted of members of this board. It consisted of our staff, including our county manager. It included residents from the community. It also included 2 farming families. Actually, Ms. Leggett was on that committee, so actually 3 farming families. So the other 2 farming families were the Vick Family Farms and Farm Pack or Barnes Farming, Johnny Barnes and Charlotte and Lynn Vick. We met, we had good discussions. Actually, the attorney was involved in those meetings as well. We looked at noise ordinances, we looked at a lot of different things, and we determined that there were some things that needed to be tweaked, but generally speaking, we feel like the farming community does a good job. The issue with the noise with propane cannons, that's used for various crops. It's not used for all crops, but I think we brought it to a positive resolution. I think the attorney would agree to that. I believe all the committee members would agree to that as well. But one of the ideas out of that committee, and I thought it was a great idea, was brought by Lynn Vick, and Lynn suggested that with a lot of population moving into Nash County, not only from the municipalities, Rocky Mount, for example, out into the county, but from Wake County out into Nash County, that it would be very important for us to try to inform people as they move into the county the differences between city life and rural life. And you don't really think about that until you actually move out into the county and you experience some of the things that are a little bit different from living in a city. So Jonathan Edwards, our IT communications director, him and his staff, they took this on as a project to develop a video. We've all viewed that video, but maybe not all of us, but the ones on the committee. And I'll tell you, it's a very interesting, it's a very informative video. It's an excellent job. And I think hopefully we will see our realtors as they start trying to draw people into Nash County. I hope that that video will be available to them so they can share it with people that are considering moving into Nash County, because we're proud of Nash County. We're proud of what we accomplished. We're proud of the balance we have between agriculture and our other industries and our residents. And don't ever forget how important agriculture is to Nash County. So with that said, Jonathan is going to show the video, and he may have some comments of his own.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Outlaw, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Over the past year, we have spent a lot of time creating this video to highlight unexpected aspects of moving to an agricultural community. So I'd like to play that video.
Ah, country living. Fresh air, wide open spaces, and peace and quiet. Nash County is a wonderful place to live. Charming small towns surrounded by beautiful open countryside. It's no wonder why people want to call Nash County home. But as Nash County continues to grow in different ways, agriculture is still a vital part of our community. From sprawling fields of crops to small family farms, the agricultural industry plays a significant role in the local economy and culture. We want to welcome new residents, but we also want them to know what to expect when moving to rural parts of Nash County.
In Nash County, we farm as an industry. It's a business. It's very large. You'll see a lot of equipment, machinery. You'll see tobacco barns. You will see warehouses, the cotton gin. You'll see a variety of agricultural-related equipment in our county.
I'm Jason Walters with Jason Walters Real Estate. We've been servicing the 5-county area, including Nash County, for the past almost 17 years now. From a real estate standpoint, people are coming here because they desire the area. Oh, it's been a big change, especially with the market explosion, and that explosion has prompted people to move from Wake County to Nash County because of affordability and finding a home, you know, getting a home that they want with the land they want within the price they're looking for. We're going to see that growth, and growth is good. I mean, we do need tax base, we need people coming in. On the flip side, it's a balancing act because we still have a lot of farming activities here. We've got to learn what we can do to live together, maintain our farming activities, as well as grow in a smart and economical way. What we normally find that people moving from Wake County to Nash County, it's not a huge change or a culture shock as far as from a farming standpoint, but when people move from Maryland and New Jersey, some of the bigger towns and cities, and come to Nash County, what they need to be aware of is the farming activities. And a lot of this is seasonal, but during those times, so the season when crops are being harvested and those things, there's going to be activity and things that they're not probably accustomed to. You know, tractors in fields or grain bins going. So I'd say be aware of that when you're choosing your place to live.
We want people to understand when they move to our county what to expect, what they might hear, what they might see, and what they might smell. And so when you come into the county, take the opportunity to learn about what agriculture is and how it affects your daily life.
Traffic alone can be enough to make someone want to leave urban areas. Nash County roads are far less congested, but depending on the season, you may discover unexpected traffic patterns here as well.
Certain weeks in spring, summer, and fall, the farmer is moving their product from the field to the storage area and on the roads that you and I travel every day. One of the scariest and dangerous parts of their job is moving equipment from one location to the other. They have these very expensive tractors in which they are moving, and sometimes people are not aware of the distance that they need to make the turns or to be in the middle of the road to pass through the bridges and different locations. So having the extra room and the patience of the people that are following them, it would be very helpful. This can happen throughout the year, but there are definitely peak seasons that you will encounter more farmers traveling with their equipment on the road.
One of the most surprising things about moving next to a farm can be odors from animals or field fertilizers. These smells aren't always in the air and depend on the season or what crop is being grown near you.
Sometimes when you walk outside, you might encounter some smells that might come from a farmer that has applied some lime as fertilizer or manure as fertilizer. And so these smells kind of linger in the area for a few days. There are certain smells associated with livestock, and many times farmers have large herds of animals that they are caring for, and it's just a part of what they do in agriculture and part of the nature of farming.
Don't be surprised to see farmers spraying chemicals on fields and crops. It's all part of producing a viable crop.
Part of agriculture is the application of pesticide, and sometimes people see that as a harmful part of the environment. However, farmers use it as part of their management of their crop to protect from weed and insect and helps the survival of the plant. Farmers go through an extensive level of training to learn how to apply the pesticide that is safe for themselves and their neighbors and those that are around them. Farmers also know the proper way to store and dispose of the pesticide in order to be environmental friendly, protect themselves as well as the community. We have pesticide disposal days once a year for the farmers so that they can properly dispose of those pesticides.
From tractors to grain bins, farm equipment can be quite noisy during the operating season. Some of the loudest noises on the farm help prevent wildlife from damaging crops.
Farmers sometimes use loud noises such as cannons to deter any kind of animal that might be a nuisance to the crop.
People that come from urban areas typically have this mindset that I'm moving to the country, that's going to be quiet, when it couldn't be further from the truth in most cases. On working farms, if you've ever been around very many working farms, there's a lot of noises. In this particular situation, you can clearly see out here that it's pretty barren. And then behind you can see it's very green. So these are soybeans, which is a typical crop that's planted all over eastern North Carolina. And in this case, all this damage has been caused by Canadian geese. And of course, the farmer has lost all of this crop that's right here. And they're going to have to come back in here and replant this. With birds, typically what you're going to use are loud noises. So propane cannons is one thing that we commonly see employed. Another thing would be pyrotechnics in the terms of like fireworks or what's called bird bangers that can be commercially purchased. But the purpose of all that is to make a very loud noise to scare these birds. That's what works the best to drive these birds away.
A propane cannon is extremely rare. We have very few farmers that are using it, but it's a piece of equipment that's very loud and it's repetitive in sound in order to deter the pests from coming upon the field and destroying their crop. Sometimes the sound can be a couple miles, it might be a short distance, it just depends on what the barrier is, if there are trees around the area, but it's meant to help to protect the crop. You will find these are being used during a short period of time, depending on what the farmer is growing and needs to make sure that the plant is protected. They are using preventative tactics to protect their crop and their livelihood.
Although we have agricultural activities all over Nash County, some farmers have enrolled their land in our Voluntary Ag District program.
In our county, you will see voluntary ag districts where people have decided to protect their farmland and enter them into the voluntary ag district. Some of those areas are very large and some are very small, and our voluntary ag district map will show how it's scattered throughout the county and from the northern end of the county to the southern end and right outside of townships.
Landowners who are enrolled in the Voluntary Ag District program are able to purchase signage, such as what I have in my hand here, that they can install on their land to identify their property as part of the Voluntary Ag District program. This signage is a helpful reminder to residents and visitors to the county that agriculture activity is happening in the area where these signs are seen. So that may include slow-moving farm equipment, it may include harvesting, planting, spraying, applications of fertilizer, lime, compost, and other activities associated with farming.
Every farm included in the Voluntary Ag District program is mapped and surrounded by a 1-mile buffer zone.
Real estate transactions that occur in these areas include a notice to the buyer that they are purchasing land in the vicinity of a voluntary ag district.
A lot of my clients are knowledgeable and know what to expect when they're moving into a voluntary ag district. Most folks see what's going on in the area. They see the tractors, they see the farm equipment out, and they realize that that is a farming operation there. So no surprises for a majority of the clients. I think the county's done a really good job of putting maps out and having information there that's readily available for anyone, the public, that if they have any concerns or questions about, they can kind of do some digging and research.
So we understand that we have people that come into our areas or move into our areas that don't understand exactly the full cycle of agriculture and the growing of the crops and how it ends up on our table. It's an opportunity for extension as we are educators and advocate for the farmer. The things that they might see as a nuisance, once they become educated and understanding what is being grown or what is happening in their community, they have more of an awareness and tolerance of what is happening around them. Cooperative Extension offers tours in which people can come and visit different farms and learn about what is actually happening on the farm and build those relationships with the farmer. It's a great experience for people to become educated on what it takes to bring the actual food from the farm to the table. There's an opportunity for our farmers to become engaged in this education, building those relationships with the people that have moved next door and helping them know that their season is starting up, when they're going to start seeing the tractors on the road, the farming begin. So it's an opportunity for the farmer to have those conversations in their community and help bridge some of that concern and help them become more educated and become aware of what's happening in their community.
I just say from a buying standpoint, if you're going to be buying in one of those areas that has heavily farm presence, be mindful of that. If you have any particular questions, if you're not from the area and not familiar with the farming activities and what goes on with farming, ask your agent, ask a neighbor. It's always good to go knock on the door. It may be a mile down the road, but knock on the door and say, hey, look, I'm thinking about buying this house down the road. How do you like the area? What can you tell me about the operation that they're running across the street? Ask those types of questions. Do your research before you sign on the dotted line.
Nash County is a great place to be, and there's going to be more people that want to move and be a part of our community. North Carolina Cooperative Extension Nash County Center is a partner of Nash County Government, North Carolina State University, and North Carolina A&T University. You can reach us at 252-459-9810 or visit us at the Nash County Agriculture Center.
The video you just saw is now live online and can be found at youtube.com/NashCountyNC, and it's also on our website, nashcountync.gov. We are using this opportunity to redo our new residence page on the website and to add this information about living your farm activity. As farm activity starts up in the spring, we're going to push this video and other supporting material out via social media, Nash County TV, and as the main banner of our webpage. I'd like to thank Communications Specialist Amber Dropko with all her hard work on the project, Sandy Hall and Matt Stevens with Cooperative Extension, and Sandy came today to support us, and Jason Walters and Greg Batts, who were our subject matter experts in the video. Any questions?
Thank you, Jonathan. It's great video, very, very good video.
So I also would like to take the chance to say thank you to our communications department, Cooperative Extension, and all the partners that helped put the video together with all the subject matter and the outward support of the agriculture community and people that feed and clothe us.
Thank you.
Give them a hand then. Mr. Outlaw, appreciate you and the ones that were responsible for those two presentations. They were both excellent. And with that, two things I need to do before I move to the next item. First item is you have a item to add to your agenda at your tables when you got here today is titled Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 2. I'd like to get permission from the board or ask the consensus to add that as item number 7A. Mr. Rogers called me this morning and wanted to get that on there due to its time sensitivity. I'm not sure where it ties in, Ms. Wood, to 8 or 9, either one, so I'm going to put it at 7A just in case you're doing something in those two that may be affected by that particular one itself. Any opposition to adding that to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll add it as item 7A. The other thing I'd like to do is, she has been here a couple of times, and I just recently had that opportunity to meet her in person, and it is Hannah Whitley, and I apologize if I get this last name right. It looks like it would be Camarina?
Yeah, Camarina.
Camarina, thank you. And Hannah is the new editor for the Spring Hope paper that covers the county's meetings and so forth. I've seen her numerous times throughout the county, some of our groundbreakings, and she has been here a time or two, but I didn't know who she was at the time, therefore I didn't introduce her. But you want to say anything about yourself or your past? We'd like to know a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I used to live in Smithfield with my dad's side of the family, and then I grew up in California, and I went to school there. I graduated with a degree in literary journalism at UC Irvine, and then I came back to North Carolina. Now I live in, I actually live in Penley, so I'm not in the county, but I guess that makes it good for you guys. And yeah, I'm actually loving my time here, and I was so graciously awarded with a position at, the Spring Hope Enterprise, and I have some really great mentors there. So just thankful to be here.
Well, we appreciate that, and welcome to Nash County and to Johnson County as well. Spend all the time you will over here. Any questions you have for us, or everything going okay?
So far, everything's good. Can you repeat what 7A was for me, please?
What was 7A? 7A, okay. It is going to be Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 2 Engineering Service Agreement Amendment 1 and 2. And it probably will be on the screen when we get to that part. And if not, certainly Mr. McGee can get you a copy of it. Or the clerk, either one. But she's so timely, she's going to do that right now. Appreciate you being here. We went many months without having any reporters here, so it is good to see you people come back into our meetings occasionally. You're welcome anytime. All right, we'll move on then to item number 7, which is a resolution authorizing the donation of another piece of county-owned surplus property to Southern Nash High School. And I'll call on Tony Cameron at this time to make this presentation. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good to see you guys again. What we are seeking is approval for ambulance. We've had Southern Nash High School reach out to us, and they have a need, and it just so happens we have an opportunity. We have a 2010 with $174,000 that was ending its service life, so we saw an opportunity to help those guys out. So we're seeking approval to enhance their education program, and we think this will enhance and promote growth throughout our county. So,
Okay. Any questions of Cameron on this item?
Yes. There are 4 high schools in the county. Is Southern Nash the only one that offers the public safety curriculum?
to my knowledge, yes, sir. They have a public safety and emergency service program. It's, I believe it was 19 curriculums that helps prepare for certification programs going into several different areas in public safety. And they just happened to reach out to us with that request, and we had an opportunity for them.
If any students from the other schools, do you have any knowledge of where they can be transferred over there, over to Southern for that particular curriculum?
I certainly do not, sir.
It's my understanding.
And I brought all that up just in case if the other high schools had that, they could share.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's my understanding that the school system will allow a student to transfer to a particular high school if they have a program there they're interested in, and it's the only one that has it. And I do know a few students that have done that, so
Yeah,
that
I
is available.
remember the agriculture program, FFA. FFA, it was the only high school in the Twin Counties that had it, so students that were interested in agriculture were able to transfer to Southern Nash. And some even out of, I know some even out of Edgecombe County that transferred to Southern Nash. And that's where they graduated from because of that. They had the FFA program.
Sure.
So that's why I brought this up when I read it. Read the agenda. I said, now, I wonder about those other 3 schools. Do they have a curriculum? If they don't, can the students transfer over there?
I learned something today.
You may not know that, but I just brought it up.
I believe they all have
That's
fire
something
trucks.
we have to ask. That's something we would have to ask the superintendent
There you
of
go.
the Board of Education.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do, because you take, for instance, our IBA program is only at senior high, Rocky Mountain Senior High, and I know of students throughout the county that go to senior high for that one reason there, so it apparently is available. Other questions? Mr. Cameron, at this time? Seeing none, entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Leggett. Any questions on that motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman.
We'll move to the added item, which is 7A, and I'll call on Patsy McGee at this time to make this presentation. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is regarding Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 2 Engineering Services Agreement Amendments 1 and 2. Nash County previously entered into an engineering services agreement with the Wooten Company for Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 2, and attached are 2 recommended amendments to that agreement and a favorable recommendation from the county engineer. The original engineering services agreement was for $235,300 and includes a sewer master plan, design services, bidding and negotiation, construction administration, easement surveying and mapping, and wetland delineation. It did not include construction observation, which we'll address later. Amendment number 1, which is for $49,600, includes the pump station preliminary design and flow calculations, and pump station and force main final design and permitting, additional gravity sewer and force main design of the 3 additional sections of gravity sewer and force main, and geotechnical services. Amendment number 2 for $6,200 includes additional geotechnical services. Together, amendments number 1 and number 2 result in an engineering contract for $291,100 at this time. So our recommendation is to approve the engineering services agreement amendments 1 and 2 with the Wooten Company for Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 2, and finance will follow with the related budget amendment later in this meeting.
Any questions of Mr. McGee on this item? Seeing none, entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins, seconded by Commissioner Combs. Any questions on the motion? All in favor of that motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGee. We'll move on to item number 8, back on the agenda, Middlesex Corporate Center Water and Sewer Road, Phase 1 Grant Project Ordinance Amendment number 5. Call on Ms. Wood at this time.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, ma'am.
The first item I have is the Middlesex Corporate Center Water Sewer Road Phase 1 Grant Project Ordinance Amendment. This is number 5. The water, sewer, and road improvements in Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 1 were funded with 3 grants. North Carolina Commerce Rural Ready Sites Program for $1,514,600. Golden Leaf Community-Based Grants Making Initiative, $1,250,000. Duke Energy Community Foundation grant of $25,000, and of course, Nash County funds. Through an interlocal agreement with the town of Middlesex, Nash County has managed the grants and construction of the infrastructure. With this project nearly complete, we'd like to amend the Phase 1 budget ordinance, including a transfer of estimated unspent Nash County project funds of $286,000 to be transferred to the Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 2 project.
That's just what you're doing, taking leftover funds and moving it to Phase 2?
It is.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Ms. Wood? Seeing none, entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Combs, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Leggett. Questions on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign. Budget amendment stands approved. Mr. Bellfield?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
for the Middlesex Park, will this town of Middlesex be able to supply adequate water? I'm thinking into the future when you're going to have more industry locating there.
It is projected
Have
that
they taken a look at that?
we have, sir, and of course, water is not a bigger issue as the sewer is. And we are having to limit our scope of people that we are soliciting to go in that park based on sewer availability, and therefore it's why it's concentrated more around warehousing space than probably anything else. But our limitation, true limitation, is sewer, but we certainly think we have enough at this time to complete that part as long as we're selective in what kind of industry we put in there. And of course, that is the reason we have been meeting for about 6 months on some type of sewer permanent plan to provide additional sewer in the southern part of Nash County. The emphasis on that was probably brought more because of this industrial part than anything else. But it's a good question.
Yes, it's one that I think that we need to be prepared for, that we don't want to come up with the water supply and lines maybe not be large enough, there's not enough supply of water.
Right. Well, actually, both utilities are provided by the town of Middlesex at this time.
It's all right.
Other questions? Ms. Wood, go ahead with item number 9.
Okay, this is the Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 2 Grant Project Ordinance. In recent months, Nash County has worked with the Wooten Company to submit 3 grant applications for sewer, electric, and road improvements in Middlesex Corporate Center. Currently, the total cost of Phase 2 construction in Middlesex Corporate Center, which includes road, electric, and sewer improvements, as well as other related construction costs, has been estimated by the Wooten Company to be over $4 million. Grants totaling $2,581,230 have been committed to the project. Includes Golden Leaf of $500,000 for sewer improvements. North Carolina Department of Commerce has committed $1,681,230 for sewer, electric, and road improvements from the Industrial Development Fund. And North Carolina Department of Transportation has committed $400,000 in Economic Development Program funds for road improvements. The remainder of the project will be funded by rollover from Middlesex Corporate Center Phase 1 and by the general fund for the purpose of economic development. This includes additional infrastructure improvements and associated engineering costs that are beyond the scope of the grants, but are necessary to meet the needs of prospective commercial industrial interests.
All right, questions of Ms. Wood on this item? Seeing none, entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Commissioner Combs. A second on the motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Leggett. Questions on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign. Motion carries as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 10, which is board, committee, or special reports. Commissioner Outlaw, I'll turn it back over to you this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to call on you by district. If you have any significant items to report, then do so when I call on you. District 1, Commissioner Arrington.
Okay. I'm going to report on the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council that I attend, and I'm going to just pass out some information to each board member for you. Get up.
Thank you, sir.
Most of what I passed out, some handouts on some data that relates to the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council's work. At our last meeting this past Thursday, we approved our requested proposal for our JCP continuation funding for 2023-2024. I would just read that sheet. Nash County anticipated annual allocation is $301,888, and the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council has studied the risk factor and needs of juvenile court-involved youth in this county, and hereby published this request for this proposal. The Juvenile Crime Prevention Council anticipates funds from the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, Juvenile Justice, and Delinquency Prevention in the amount stated above to fund the program type specified below, such as program will serve delinquents at-risk youth for the state fiscal year 2023. And I'm going to say the local match rate for from our county is 20% of that $301,188. And under there are basically some of the programs that we that the council provide to different agencies that support the court and juveniles at risk. That's pretty much it. The Community Caregivers Advisory Board, basically I would say that I've talked with the director, but when Mr. Richardson was on there, that they really seem like they don't admit that they more or less go out and volunteer well, pretty much on a basis. So she really didn't. So I'm kind of that board really don't. I haven't been able to meet with them.
I can get you some more information on that.
Yeah.
Yes, they should be volunteering to go into the facilities.
Yeah, that's what they basically do. So that kind of, my schedule don't quite permit
Okay.
that.
I'll get with the regional office and see if we have a need to put someone else in that role.
All right. That's it, Mr. Outlaw.
Any questions for Commissioner Arrington? Hearing none, District 2, Commissioner Belfield.
Fellow commissioners, I'm on 4 boards here, but the Tar River Transit hasn't met, and Farmers Market, I think we're due to meet next month. In February, we usually don't meet but twice a year, and unless there's something that we have a call meeting. But the one I want to report on today is Upper Coastal Plain Council of Government. Back in 2014, the state came up with prosperity zones for economic development, and it doesn't seem to be working that well because of administration, the way it's being handled administrative. And what they did, there are 5 counties in the Upper Coastal Plain Council of Government. They took, when they did this, they made these zones, they took Halifax and Northampton and put it in the eastern, with the eastern, for the eastern counties. And those 2 counties were sitting there with pretty much nothing happening, economic development. So the Coastal Plain Council of Government looked at this, and we have passed a resolution to get all the counties that are a member of the Upper Coastal Plain Council of Government from an economic standpoint back into with Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson County. So at our last meeting last week, we passed this resolution to move this forward. And we think we have a good chance of getting back in with the rest of the other 3 counties that make up the 5-county Upper Coastal Plain Council of Government. It passed unanimous with no opposition at all. And Halifax and Northampton were glad that we did. And that's my report.
Any questions, Commissioner Belfield? Hearing none, District 3, Commissioner Cone.
The Trillium Board met November the 22nd. There's a need for a non-commissioner seat on the Trillium Governing Board. So I'd just like to report that Amy Pridgeon Hamlet was nominated for that position, so she does represent our district on the Trillium Governing Board. Dave Peterson also talked about the plan updates. We've been hearing for 2-3 years about the standard plan, the tailored plan. Trillium will be administering the tailored plan. It's been postponed. Only the care management part with Peace was going live on December the 1st, and the rest of that plan will not be active until April the 23rd of 23. That's all I have on Trillium. Ag Advisory Board has not met. The Health and Human Services Board met. We had a report from Veteran Services. As usual, they're always busy. They got people coming in, people on the phone, so that's been a good thing for Nash County. We were given departmental updates by DSS. Bill gave a report on COVID, which we know that's gone up every week. For a month, he gives us his report, and it's kind of gone up all the time, and I think it's still gone up from where it was on December 15th. But anyway, not as many bad cases as we had to start with, and not as many hospitalizations. And we really don't know how many cases there are out there because people are testing at home and not going to the doctor because it don't warrant going to the doctor. So it's still here. They give us an update on Pet Haven and the progress it's coming along. It's on schedule. So we'll be hearing more about that and seeing more about that soon. That's all I have.
Any questions for Commissioner Cone? Hearing none, District 4, Commissioner Leggett.
All right. First, I'll report on the UNC Nash Hospital Board. That board does meet monthly, and I'll report on some notable events for them. UNC Nash has recently achieved several excellent designations. First, our hospital was one of only 32 hospitals nationwide to earn the top general hospital designation, and this is one of the highest and most competitive recognitions for excellence in hospital safety and quality by the Leapfrog Group. Also, Nash has once again achieved an A safety grade in the Leapfrog fall reporting period. And so if you know someone that works for the hospital, have a friend, family member, please give them a pat on the back. That is quite notable and quite an achievement for our community. Our Nash Women's Center has earned the Baby Friendly designation. That's with the Baby Friendly USA organization, recognizing their high standards of care in that area of the hospital. On the fiscal side, the hospital is seeing increased patient volumes in the emergency department, admissions, heart catheterizations, and inpatient surgeries. So all these are helping to offset the hospital's increase in operating expenses that they've seen along with most businesses. The Hospital Planning and Facilities Committee is continuing to meet and working on an updated strategic plan, and that is expected to be implemented with the beginning of fiscal year 2024. And finally, in the hospital news, the Hospital Foundation recently wrapped up their annual employee giving campaign, where over 40% of the hospital employees participated, raising over $96,000, which will be used to help improve the health and well-being of our community. The Natural Resources Resilience Committee has not met, so I don't have anything to report there. The Farmers Market Committee did meet in December, so I've got a few things to pass along there. In the 2022 season for the Nash County Market in Rocky Mount, they served over 49,000 customers. The EBT and Fresh Bucks program, which they helped coordinate, there was over $41,000 spent in that program. Our market was awarded over $490,000 in grant funds this year, which will be used most notably from the Upper Coastal Plains Council of Government grant, which is used to deliver community-supported agriculture boxes from 2022 through 2024. For the 2023 season, there is an opening concert scheduled for March 25th. That will be held at the market at 5:00 p.m. Opening day for the 2023 market is on April 1st, and the market will close on December 16th, 2023. If you have further questions, contact the Nash County Cooperative Extension Office, and they're happy to help. Also, our Nash County Farmers Market Coordinator helps with the Nashville Farmers Market as well, and they are scheduled to open April 21st. And that's all for my report.
Any questions for Commissioner Leggett?
Would you repeat the number associated with the grants you got
Yes.
for the farmers market?
$490,292 awarded in grant funds. 490,292.
That's just a much larger number than I would have anticipated. The majority of that goes to the food boxes that I am aware we deliver.
Yes, the Upper Coastal Plain Council of Government grant alone was $460,000.
Okay.
And that serves a multi-county area.
Right.
We just serve as one of the coordinator sites.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, go ahead, Fred.
Some time ago, Nash Healthcare was talking about selling some of the buildings on the campus. Are they moving forward with that, or they've already done and completed that?
I do not believe that those have been sold at this time. I can confirm that for you.
Actually, Sue, you remember they came to us and asked our board for permission to sell a couple of them, and we thought it best not to do that, which was the eye care center, and then another building at the back, which was a former pediatric center. So I think our board made a decision not to move forward with that.
So I know that the eye care building, there is a UNC physicians group that is in there now.
That's correct. And the attorney may could add more to that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, part of that eye care center is on our property, part of it's on their property.
That's right.
One of the issues.
Yeah, correct. I don't think they've sold, to my knowledge, they hadn't sold anything on the campus.
Well,
They did
I
add.
noticed one of the buildings there is occupied now, so I was just wondering if it, that was empty, but now occupied.
Okay, moving on to District 5, the RPO TAC, I have nothing significant to report from that committee. The Nash Community College Board of Trustees, again, nothing significant to report. The Nash County Broadband Committee, we recently met, and that information has been placed in your county mailbox. So once you take a look at it, if you have any questions, contact any member of the committee or Ms. McGee. Any questions? Hearing none, District 6, Commissioner Wilkins.
Attended Gateway Technology meetings, and they're still in search of a building manager. The Shelton Leadership Challenge takes place in July, and that's where a collaborative between North Carolina State University and ECU teaches essential values to leaders to push them to their full potential. Upper Coastal Plain Council of Governments has been contacted by AHEC to do virtual first aid classes. ECU graduated 2,000 students last fall. They were very proud of that. And there will be a purple and gold bus tour coming through Eastern North Carolina on March the 6th, filled with nursing students to get some insight into rural areas in Eastern North Carolina. And North Carolina Wesleyan, the Shaw Learning Center is opening, was supposed to have opened January 18th with that cat lounge that I spoke about a few months ago. And there's still a lot of focus on having a ready workforce for our area with the business and industry that is already here and anticipating to come. Strategic Twin Counties Education Partnership, I attended a Teachers at Work presentation, and what that did, there were 5 teachers that went around to various businesses and to learn about the businesses and get hands-on training, what they could take back to the classrooms to teach their students about what businesses needed. And I'm looking forward to the STEP Board retreat, which I believe is the end of this week. I've also been asked to report on the Economic Development Alliance. We had our tour on January 12th of business and industry in Nash County from about 8:30 to 1 o'clock. It was very informative and exciting. I had seen most of the areas we visited, but we met at North Nash Community College and boarded a bus. Our first stop was at Crump's Naturals and Universal Leaf. I did not know Universal Leaf had been there since 2003. I knew it had been a long time, but that was great. And Crump's International came in 2021, and we are their first U.S. facility. We left there and headed to the Nashville Business Center, which sits on 15 acres, located at 64 Alternate in Nashville, home to ACDI Electronics and Atlantic Foods. From there, we left and went to Middlesex Corporate Center that boasts a 62,500 square foot building that houses Synovatec First Wave. And I believe it's expandable to 100,000 square feet. And currently $10 million has been invested with 43 jobs, and they're looking at investing $20 million with 75 jobs in the future. Off to I-95 and 97 site that had 142 acres. We saw that. We went to the Whitaker's Business and Industry Center, Phase 2, which is home to the Cheesecake Factory, Poppy's, Draka Elevator, Berry Global, LS Tractor, Nakeo, and McLean Distribution. And so after that, the other Whitaker's Business and Industry site, South, sits on 38 acres and is ready for development. We saw that. And the last industry site we stopped at, we toured the grounds of the CSX Intermodal in Brattleboro, and that was very impressive. They have automatic operations there with access to over 5 million consumers within a 120-mile radius. So the trip was very nice. different people from the Economic Development Alliance attended, from the chamber to the colleges, and we got back to Nash Community College, and I do want to thank them because they just have so much going for them, and all the, they graduated, I believe, 13,500 students in the 21-22 school year, and thanks to our own Economic Development Department, Andy Hagee and Susan Phelps, and our county manager for helping put all this together. It was a great trip. If you didn't go, maybe you need to go on your own. We had a wonderful time. And thanks to our bus driver in Tar River Transit.
Any questions, Commissioner Legg? Hearing none, we'll go to District 7, Commissioner Davis, and once Commissioner Davis finishes his report, he'll assume leadership of the board.
Thank you, Commissioner Outlaw and Ms. Wilkins. Appreciate you making that report, which Dan and I both serve on that board as well, but you see why she was asked to do it. She does such a good and thorough job. Absolutely. TDA board, which is the one that collects the hotel tax, we know it met on January the 10th at 2 o'clock. Had a great meeting. Most of the members were there. Basically what that was to bring us up to date where we stood financially. Ms. Wood and our staff did a great job, as they always do. We learned that tourism in Nash County is certainly thriving, and our revenue is in excellent shape from where it has been. We had a good year last year, but it's going to even be better this coming year. We received quite a bit of reports on what tournaments and so forth have been awarded to Nash County, and even since the meeting, we learned that we did get with City of Rocky Mount an additional tournament that will bring quite a few people into our area. So TDA and tourism is doing very well in the county. I do have an open slot on that because we had one member that moved outside of the county, and I think Dan is working on filling that. It was down in his area, and I'm thinking maybe you might have a presentation to make the first of the month on who might fill that. Okay. All right, good. And that is a public member, and it's not one of their required ones, but it was the Cone boy, Mark, that used to be with, well, he still is in the media business, but he relocated out of the county, and so he came off of the TDA board. The MPO has not met since our last meeting where we reported. It will meet on February the 20th, so I do not have a report there. And the only other board was the Alliance Board, which has already been reported on. Commissioner Outlaw, any questions on any of those? Seeing done, I'll move on. Mr. Manager, did you have anything that you wanted to report before we go into closed session?
Ms. McGee has asked that you all look at your calendars and try to come up with a couple of dates for the legislative dinner, either in late February or early March, that she can start working on trying to plan that event.
Do you have something specific you want us to look at?
I don't, and if you would like me to send some out via email, we can try to do it that way.
Your pleasure. What you want to do?
Let's do that instead of just shooting in the dark here. Let me look at our calendars and know what we already have on there and send some possibilities out to the group.
Since we do have one brand-new member to the House serving for Nash County, or majority of Nash County, and then we have another member that has one little part of Nash County that actually has majority of Wilson. So we'll have two members that represent Nash County. I think it's very important that we do have this dinner and everybody get to meet those two people that hadn't met them yet. Anything else?
Just so once we schedule that dinner, are you going to be looking for topics of discussion?
I think Patsy does generally poll the board to see what you all would like to have discussion about, but also the legislative priorities.
That's coming up pretty quick, so I wanted to mention that, so you can be thinking about that.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Will we have our local recommendations ready between now and sometime in February?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I think what Ms. McGee normally does is hopefully she'll send it out and say, if you got any items you want to get on the agenda, and then she'll have some items that carry over, so let's be thinking about it. I've got some I want on there.
Anything else?
Just a reminder for the board to share their thoughts and ideas with you about the state of Nash County.
Okay, right. I have received comment from a couple of commissioners, and if I could get those maybe by the end of the week, it'd give me a chance to get with staff and let staff know, which is what the manager's concerned about. Did I get with her and let her know what I'll be needing? I appreciate that. All right, with nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session. At this time, the closed session is for a discussion of economic development located within the county, and also to consider qualifications and performance of county employees. And then we will come back out to this room. The closed session will be in the committee room. We'll come back to this room to close out our meeting for today. Any reason I won't close it?
No.
It'll be closed and not recessed. Okay. All right, entertain that motion to go into closed session. Closed session, and we'll take a 5-minute recess and convene in the conference room.